Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to do my commemorative speech. I'm going to do it for my grandmother. We all have someone that has inspired us or has been very special in our life, and that one special person for me is my grandmother. Um, she taught me a lot of things, and that is why I feel I need to do my tribute to her. There's that one person that you love and respect that you just could not imagine your life without. If they were gone, it would be hard to imagine your life without them. My special person who I cared for greatly was my grandmother. As a child living in South Carolina, I didn't get to see her that often, so I cherished every moment that I did get to see her. She was an amazing woman. She loved everyone, and she never spoke ill of anyone. And that was pretty amazing because that's not something that you see often. We moved to West Virginia. That is where she was, that's where she was born and raised. We moved to West Virginia to take care of her because she had a terrible accident that caused a lot of brain trauma. So we moved in with her to help take care of her and to help heal her. She taught me to cook. She taught me to respect others and myself. She was old fashioned, so she taught me that way of life. Today I'd like to honor her and share why she was so precious and so important to me in my life. She was born December the 6th, 1940. Her name was Mary Magdalene Holstein. She was born and raised in West Virginia. She lived in the country, so there wasn't very many houses around, but what was around was people that lived, a good distance away, but they knew her. She had to learn to cook and help around the house at a young age. Now, in her time, that's all that her life was based upon was she learned how to be a woman. She had to clean, she had to cook, she had to take care of family duties. While the men done the outside work, they done the yard work, they took care of the farm. She married at age 25. She had 3 kids. She had 2 girls, 1 boy. My mother was her daughter. She was the oldest daughter. She was the first daughter. She also took in neighborhood kids, and that's what made her who she was. She could never turn anybody down. People would come to her for, just a dinner, a meal, because she always cooked a lot of food to make sure that she could care for other people in the neighborhood. She would feed other kids. She would clothe other kids. It was no inconvenience for her to be able to do this stuff. She done it out of the goodness of her heart, and she knew that they needed it, so she done it for them. Um, she learned to raise a garden and work on a farm. She was raised on a lot of farmland, so she done a lot of cooking, cleaning, helping with the animals when needed. She would go out and milk cows when needed. Everyone in the area knew her. They knew how wonderful of a woman she was. She loved to care for others. She took in children. She raised my oldest sister. My mother was 16 when she had her first child, and she just could not take care of her. So my grandmother took her in and took care of her, and she did not have a problem with it. She was okay with it, and that's what makes my grandmother so great and so special was she didn't judge you. She accepted you for who you were, and that's how she done her life. She raised my oldest sister, and even to this day, when my oldest sister speaks of my grandmother, she calls her mom. And that's how it is. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. She still communicates with my mother, and they get along, and some things are just meant to be, and I think that that's just how God intended it for it to be. She divorced on good terms. She was married for a while, and then she divorced, and she never spoke ill of him. They come to an agreement that they should no longer be together, but they would still, communicate with each other, no problem at all, especially when the kids were involved. In 2008, she was diagnosed with lung cancer. That was the most devastating thing that our whole family had to deal with. Nobody in the family imagined that she would die, even though we knew that eventually death will come, but not so soon, and she missed out on a lot of things. She was diagnosed with lung cancer. It was inoperable, so there wasn't really much of anything that could have been done, and it was devastating to the whole family. My best memories of my grandmother. I gave birth to her first great-grandson. He was amazing. She loved him from the moment that she found out I was pregnant. I got pregnant a few months after she was diagnosed with lung cancer. And I think that that's how God intended it to be, because he knew she wasn't going to be around much longer, and she needed to enjoy at least her first great-grandson. Right now she has 3 great-grandsons and 1 great-granddaughter. And I think she's looking up above right now, and she is proud of everything. She was a happy person. She died when my son was only 8 months old. So I try to instill in him every day how special she was. And I show him pictures and tell him, this is your great-grandmother. Even though you don't remember her, she is always going to be here, and she's always going to be around. At age 68, lung cancer had claimed her life. That is when she passed away. She passed away on December the 3rd, and we buried her on her birthday, December the 6th. That was also a difficult thing, was to bury her on her birthday. God saw that her work on earth was done, and it was time for her to come home to be relieved of the pain that she endured through her last remaining months of her life, because she was in a great deal of pain from the lung cancer. She will forever remain in our hearts, and she is never forgotten. Thanks.